Ever feel like life is one chaotic storm after another, and you're just trying not to drown? What if I told you there's a way to stay grounded, even when everything around you feels out of control? Welcome to Stoic Virtue Daily. In today's video, we continue our powerful self-development series inspired by timeless Stoic wisdom. If you're just joining us or missed the previous episode, don't worry, we've linked it in the description below. Trust me, you'll want to catch up, because this isn't just content to consume. These are not just quotes or ideas to admire. This is your daily curriculum for life, tools, not just theories, to help you live with strength, clarity, and inner peace. So if you're serious about building emotional resilience and mastering your mindset, make sure to hit that subscribe button, give this video a like, and drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your support fuels this journey. Now let's dive into today's focus: how to find peace in the middle of chaos, not by escaping the world, but by facing it smarter. Forget about meditating on mountaintops or disappearing into the woods. Stoicism isn't about isolating yourself. It's about showing up to life fully, with calm, control, and courage. And it starts with one foundational truth: control what you can, let go of what you can't. Lesson 1. Understanding control. Life is unpredictable. That's not a flaw. It's a feature. Plans fall apart. People disappoint you. The flight gets canceled. The deal falls through. The weather doesn't care about your weekend. But here's the kicker. While you can't control what happens around you, you can always control what happens within you. Your thoughts, your beliefs, your responses. The ancient Stoic philosopher Epictetus said it best: the chief task in life is simply this: to distinguish between what we can control and what we cannot. Let's break that down with 3 practical steps you can apply starting today. 1. Know your circle of control. Picture a circle. Inside it, your thoughts, your actions, your decisions. Outside of it, the weather, other people's opinions, the economy, traffic, gossip. Stoicism teaches us to focus our time, energy, and emotions inside that circle. Why waste power on things you can't influence? 2. Accept what you can't change. This isn't about being passive or weak. It's about wisdom. When something is beyond your influence, struggling against it only creates pain. Instead of resisting reality, Stoicism invites us to embrace it, calmly and courageously. As the Serenity Prayer beautifully says, "Grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference." 3. Choose your response. No matter what life throws at you, you always have a choice in how you react. You can spiral into frustration, or you can pause, breathe, and respond with intention. Viktor Frankl, a Holocaust survivor and psychiatrist, put it perfectly: between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom. Real-life examples. Stoicism in action. The traffic jam Stoic. You're stuck bumper to bumper. Instead of swearing and fuming, you shift your mindset. You turn on a podcast, reflect on your day, or simply enjoy a moment of quiet. That's not wasted time. It's a reset. The canceled flight philosopher. Your plans collapse. Flights delayed, trips ruined. But instead of throwing a tantrum, you pivot. You look for solutions. Maybe there's a hotel nearby. Maybe this is a moment to rest and regroup. Anger doesn't get you there. Clarity does. The laid-off optimist. You lose your job, but rather than falling into despair, you ask yourself, what now? You use the setback to learn, recalibrate, and grow, because every closed door might just redirect you to the right one. The bottom line: peace doesn't come from having a perfect life. It comes from cultivating a powerful mindset. Stoicism teaches us that serenity isn't about escaping reality. It's about facing it with discipline, clarity, and grace. As Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." So remember, control what you can, accept what you can't, and choose your response like a true Stoic warrior. Lesson 2, the circle of control, your personal Zen zone. All right, let's get real for a moment. What if I told you there's a mental habit used by ancient philosophers that could literally change how you experience stress, pressure, and daily chaos? It's not magic. It's not some self-help gimmick. It's called the circle of control, and once you understand it, you'll wonder how you ever lived without it. Now, before your mind jumps to yoga poses or burning incense, let me stop you. This isn't woo-woo. This is a practical, laser-sharp framework for reducing stress, staying focused, and gaining real control over your emotional energy. So, what is the circle of control? Picture this: a simple circle. Inside that circle are the things you have direct control over: your thoughts, your choices, your actions, your mindset, and how you respond. Outside that circle, everything else: the weather, the economy, your ex's opinion, a delayed flight, that ridiculously catchy song playing on repeat in your head. This isn't a new idea. It's a concept deeply rooted in Stoicism. Philosophers like Epictetus and Marcus Aurelius built their emotional resilience around this exact principle. Focus only on what is within your control and release what is not. Trying to control the uncontrollable? That's a one-way ticket to frustration, anxiety, and burnout. But when you apply this idea, when you actually live it, everything shifts. How does this one circle change? Everything. 1. It reduces stress instantly. When you consciously focus on what's inside your control, your mind stops obsessing over what's outside it. You're no longer stuck in a loop of what ifs or chasing outcomes you can't command. Instead, you start asking, what can I do right now? That simple shift melts anxiety and builds calm. 2. It makes you feel empowered. You're not a puppet of fate. You're not a victim of every external wave. When you realize that you control your mindset, your reactions, your next step, you take your power back. You become the author of your own story again. 3. It sharpens your decision-making. When you stop wasting energy trying to change things you can't, you start making smarter, cleaner decisions. You focus on what actually moves the needle, and you let go of the noise. That's clarity. That's efficiency. That's strength. Real-life Stoic moments, philosophy in action. Because let's be honest, philosophy only matters if it works in the messy moments of real life. The job interview. You can't control whether the employer says yes, but you can control how well you prepare, how confidently you present yourself, and how you follow up. So focus there. Give your best. Let go of the outcome. The health diagnosis. You may not be able to control getting sick, but you can choose your response, how you treat your body, your mindset, and the kind of support you seek. That's where your strength lies, not in perfect health, but in powerful choices. The social media storm. You can't stop people from saying negative things online, but you can choose how you respond. Ignore it. Respond with kindness. Log off and breathe. Your peace isn't in their hands, it's in yours. Can you expand your circle? Now here's where it gets interesting. Even though you can't directly control everything outside your circle, your calm, focused actions can influence what's outside. You can't control the weather, but you can pack an umbrella. You can't control someone's opinion, but you can communicate clearly, respectfully, and with confidence. So by mastering what's inside your control, you sometimes nudge the outside world in your favor. The bottom line, your peace lives inside the circle. The circle of control is one of the simplest yet most powerful Stoic tools you'll ever use. It's not about ignoring the world. It's about engaging with it smarter. As the Serenity Prayer reminds us, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Your turn. Take a moment. Draw your own circle, mentally or on paper. What's inside it? What's outside it? Now ask yourself, where have you been wasting energy? And where can you begin to focus your strength? Because when you live inside your circle, when you own your space, you don't just survive the chaos, you rise above it. Lesson 3. Cut the strings that pull your mind. Your DIY guide to mental freedom. Let me ask you something. Have you ever felt like you're not the one steering your own mind? Like invisible forces are constantly tugging at your thoughts, pulling your emotions in every direction, and leaving you exhausted, distracted, and disconnected. That's not just your imagination. You, my friend, are tangled in strings, mental puppet strings, and today we're going to cut them. The invisible strings we don't see but feel every day. We're not talking about the wooden puppets on the stage. We're talking about something far more real, the unseen psychological threads that control how you think, feel, and act. What are these strings? They're external influences and internal pressures, like the endless scroll of social media making you feel behind, the 24/7 news cycle that fills your head with fear and negativity, the unrealistic expectations of society, peers, and family, the inner critic that whispers, "You're not enough." Each one of these strings subtly pulls at your mental state, telling you who to be, what to do, what to fear, and how to feel. And the more strings we allow to accumulate, the less free we become. Why you must cut the strings? Because they are draining your energy, clouding your judgment, and holding you hostage to things that do not serve your growth. They keep you stuck in patterns that aren't even yours, patterns built on fear, shame, pressure, and noise. As the Chinese philosopher Lao Tzu wisely said, to attain knowledge, add things every day. To attain wisdom, remove things every day. Wisdom is not about piling on more. It's about letting go of what doesn't belong. How to cut the strings, step by step. This isn't just a metaphor, it's a process, and it starts now. 1. Become aware of the strings. You can't cut what you can't see. Start by identifying the strings in your own life. What external forces are causing you stress? What internal voices are shaping your decisions? Ask yourself, is this thought mine, or did I inherit it from somewhere else? Second question. Don't let every message, opinion, or belief walk into your mind uninvited. Ask, is this true? Is this helpful? Does this align with my values? You're allowed to challenge social norms. You're allowed to rewrite the script. 3. Set boundaries without guilt. Boundaries aren't selfish. They're essential. Say no to what drains you. Limit your exposure to toxic media, environments, and even people. Surround yourself with energy that supports your mental clarity, not sabotages it. 4. Practice mindfulness. Mindfulness is your anchor. When you're present, you can observe your thoughts without being ruled by them. You notice the strings without letting them control your actions. A few minutes of mindful breathing each day can help you reset, refocus, and realign. 5. Build inner strength. This is your long-term defense. The stronger you are inside, the fewer strings can pull you down. Trust your own judgment. Believe in your values. Learn to make decisions based on what feels right, not on what gets approval. Because the truth is, you don't need more applause. You need more alignment. Real-world Stoic examples where this actually works. Let's bring this down to earth. Philosophy means nothing if it doesn't apply to your real life. The news junkie. You check the news every hour and feel more anxious by the minute. Cut the string. Schedule one time a day to check the news. Or even better, switch to balanced sources. Your peace of mind matters more than being constantly updated. The social media scroller. You find yourself comparing your life to others online. Cut the string. Unfollow accounts that make you feel inadequate. Take breaks from the apps. You are not behind. You're on your own path. The people pleaser. You say yes when you mean no. Cut the string. Set boundaries even if it feels uncomfortable. Prioritize your time and energy without apology. The chronic worrier. You constantly replay what-if scenarios about the future. Cut the string. Practice grounding exercises. Come back to the present. The future doesn't exist yet, but your peace does, here and now. Final thoughts. Your freedom is within reach. Cutting the strings that pull your mind isn't a one-time act. It's a continuous journey. It requires courage, self-awareness, and an honest look at the habits that shape your mental world. But the reward, freedom, clarity, peace, you become you, not a product of the world's noise, but a reflection of your own values. As the Buddha wisely said, no one saves us but ourselves. No one can and no one may. We ourselves must walk the path. So now take a breath. Look at your life. Ask yourself, which strings will I cut today? Lesson 4. Peace is in staying the course, your GPS for a chill life. Let's face it, modern life is noisy. You're constantly being pulled in 100 directions, told to hustle harder, pivot faster, try this, buy that, become someone better, whatever that means. But here's the truth no one wants to admit. You don't need more. You need alignment. And today we're diving into the kind of peace that doesn't come from escaping the world, but from standing strong in it. We're not talking about a vague, floaty kind of peace, not the just go with the flow vibe. This is about rooted serenity, the kind of unshakable calm that comes from knowing who you are, where you're going, and staying true to it, especially when life tries to throw you off track. The FOMO trap, why we keep losing our way. In today's world, the pressure is relentless. Social media screams, do more, be more, have more. We're hypnotized by shiny success stories, 30-day transformations, and people who look like they've got it all figured out. This creates the illusion that we're always behind, that we're missing out on something better. So we jump ship on our goals. We change direction. We second-guess ourselves. It's like we're sprinting on a hamster wheel, burning out but not getting anywhere meaningful. The Stoic solution: anchor yourself in what matters. The ancient Stoics had a different approach. They believed that peace doesn't come from chasing what glitters, but from committing to what truly matters. They taught us to align our actions with our values, focus on what we can control, and let go of everything else. As Seneca wisely said, tranquility can't be grasped except by those who have reached an unwavering and firm power of judgment. The rest constantly fall and rise in their decisions. In other words, if you keep shifting with every trend, you'll never feel grounded. How to stay the course, even when the world distracts you. This isn't about stubbornness. It's about resilience. It's about setting your internal compass and learning how to walk your path, no matter how loud the world gets. 1. Know the self. It starts here. What do you truly value? What kind of life do you want to live? What kind of person do you want to become? Take time to reflect. Write it down. This becomes your compass. When the winds of doubt blow hard, your values will keep you steady. 2. Set your sights. Once your values are clear, translate them into meaningful goals. Then break those goals into small, actionable steps. Progress becomes possible, not overwhelming. Even in chaos, having a direction keeps you moving with purpose. 3. Stay focused on your path. Trends will tempt you, distractions will follow you. But remember, not everything that glitters is gold. You don't need the next big thing. You need to finish the meaningful thing you already started. It's okay to say no to what doesn't align. 4. Embrace the suck. Let's be real. Life gets hard. Sometimes really hard. There will be setbacks, slow days, self-doubt, and failure. But guess what? That's part of the process. Instead of quitting when things get uncomfortable, lean into it. The Stoics believe that adversity sharpens character, and so do we. 5. Celebrate small wins. Don't wait until you reach the peak to feel proud. Acknowledge your effort. Celebrate progress. Every step forward, even a tiny one, is proof that you're moving in the right direction. These little victories, they're fuel for the journey. Real-life examples. Stoicism in action. Because abstract ideas mean nothing until they touch real life. The marathon runner training is brutal. The body aches. Motivation fades. But those who finish, they're the ones who showed up every day, especially on the hard days. They trusted the process. One step, 1 mile, one finish line. The entrepreneur building something from scratch? It's a roller coaster of doubt, failure, reinvention, and grit. But if you hold on to your vision, learn from your mistakes, and keep showing up, you build something that matters. The artist. The creative journey is filled with rejection, loneliness, and self-doubt. But those who persist, those who keep creating even when no one's watching, they find their voice. And in time, the world hears it too. The bottom line, peace is a path, not a place. Peace isn't something you arrive at once you have it all. It's the quiet confidence of staying true to yourself when the world screams otherwise. It's choosing your own rhythm when everyone else is racing. It's honoring your own values when trends try to distract you. As Ralph Waldo Emerson wrote, to be yourself in a world that is constantly trying to make you something else is the greatest accomplishment. So stay the course. You already have the map. You just need to walk it, one intentional step at a time. Lesson 5. Never do anything out of habit. Break free from the mental chains. Let me ask you a question. How many things did you do today without even thinking about them? You wake up, reach for your phone, scroll, pour coffee, turn on the TV, react, repeat, all without a second of conscious thought. That, my friend, is the silent power and danger of habit. The hidden trap of habit. Now don't get me wrong, some habits are essential. Brushing your teeth, exercising, locking the door. These are healthy patterns that free up mental space. But we're not talking about those. We're talking about the unconscious loops that sneak into your life. Those autopilot routines that slowly drain your energy, dull your awareness, and rob you of intentional living. The ancient Stoics believed that true freedom begins with awareness. And when we act out of habit, we surrender that awareness. We become prisoners in our own routines, living the same day on repeat, mistaking movement for growth. The habit loop. Why you keep repeating. Ever wonder why you always reach for snacks when you're stressed? Why you scroll through your phone until your brain feels numb? It's not just weakness, it's wiring. Our brains are designed to build habits to conserve energy. Every habit follows a loop. Trigger, behavior, reward. Over time, it becomes automatic, comfortable, familiar, and that's the problem. It makes unhelpful behavior feel safe. As philosopher William James once said, habit is the enormous flywheel of society, its most precious conservative agent. In other words, habits keep us stuck, even when those routines no longer serve us. Why breaking the habit matters. Habits aren't just repetitive, they're restrictive. They tell your brain, this is who I am. This is all I do. But here's the truth. You're allowed to grow. You're allowed to change. You're allowed to rewrite your patterns. Breaking out of automatic behaviors gives you three powerful gifts. 1. Awareness. When you interrupt a habit, you wake up. You start noticing your environment, your emotions, your choices. You begin asking, why am I doing this? And in that awareness, you find freedom. 2. Expanded possibility. Habits narrow your life to what's comfortable, but growth lives in discomfort. By shaking up the routine, you open yourself to new experiences, new ways of thinking, and new opportunities for transformation. 3. Intentional living. When you stop living on autopilot, you start choosing how you spend your time. You stop reacting and start creating. You build a life based on what fuels your soul, not just what fills your schedule. Real-world examples where habit holds you back. Let's bring this concept down to earth with some everyday examples. The coffee zombie. You grab a cup of coffee the moment you wake up, not out of need, but out of habit. Try switching to tea or skipping it for a few days. Notice how your body actually feels. Do you need the caffeine or the comfort? The social media addict. You open Instagram every time you're bored, before you even know you're doing it. Try deleting the app for a week. Replace that time with reading, walking, or journaling. Watch your focus return. Watch your anxiety drop. The couch potato. You crash on the couch every evening because, well, that's what you've always done. Instead, try taking a short walk, calling a friend, or working on a hobby. Notice how your energy shifts and how your evening transforms. How to break the habit. The fun and hard. This process isn't about willpower. It's about strategy and self-compassion. 1. Identify the habit. Be specific. Don't say, I want to stop being lazy. Say, I want to stop watching Netflix for more than an hour a night. Clarity creates change. 2. Understand the trigger. Ask yourself, when does this habit happen? Why? Is it boredom? Stress? A certain time of day? Identify the cue and you gain power over it. 3. Replace the habit. Nature hates a vacuum. If you simply stop a habit, something else will fill the space, often the same behavior. Instead, replace it with something more aligned with your values. Example: Replace late-night scrolling with 10 minutes of journaling or stretching. 4. Be patient habits. Don't disappear overnight. There will be setbacks. You'll slip up. That's not failure. It's part of the process. Celebrate progress, not perfection. Every conscious choice is a win. The bottom line, you are not your habits. Your habits shape your life, but they don't define your soul. You have the power to rewrite them, to live intentionally, to break the mental chains. As Aristotle said, we are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. So ask yourself, what habits are quietly running your life? And more importantly, which ones are you finally ready to break? Lesson 6. Reboot the real work. Ditch the hustle. Find your flow. Let's be honest for a second. Are you working harder than ever, but feeling more drained than ever? Do your days feel full, but your soul feels empty? Then it's time for a reset. Not a vacation, not a productivity hack, but a total mindset reboot where we shift from the illusion of busyness to the reality of meaningful work. The busy trap, always moving, never fulfilled. We live in a world obsessed with hustle. Rise and grind. Sleep when you're dead. More. Faster. Now. We're constantly glued to screens, juggling emails, responding to DMs, checking off endless to-do lists, thinking that motion equals progress. But deep down, we know better. As the Stoic philosopher Seneca warned, it is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it. Life is long enough if it's well invested. So how do we start investing our time more wisely? How do we reboot our work lives and reconnect with what truly matters? The Stoic approach to real work. It starts by redefining what real work means. Because real work isn't about keeping busy. It's about doing what matters. It's about aligning your effort with your values and walking away feeling fulfilled, not just exhausted. 5 steps to reboot and reclaim. Meaningful work. 1. Define your real work. Ask yourself, what kind of work makes me feel alive? What am I uniquely good at? What activities leave me feeling energized, not depleted? Your real work is the intersection of your values, your talents, and your purpose. It's the work that might not always be easy, but always feels right. Don't just chase titles, chase alignment. 2. Ditch the distractions. Let's be real, distraction is the new addiction. Between social media notifications and never-ending emails, our attention is constantly hijacked. But here's the truth. You can't do deep work in a shallow environment. Set boundaries. Turn off the noise. Block time for focused effort. When you're fully present, the quality of your work skyrockets, and so does your satisfaction. As the saying goes, work expands to fill the time available for its completion. So guard your time fiercely. 3. Embrace deep work. Deep work is where magic happens. It's when you shut out the world and immerse yourself in a task that challenges and excites you. It's not multitasking. It's not shallow scrolling. It's one thing at a time, done with full attention. Cal Newport, author of Deep Work, puts it perfectly. Clarity about what matters provides clarity about what does not. So get clear, then get quiet, then go deep. 4. Find your flow. Flow is that sweet, almost spiritual state where time disappears and you become one with the work. You're not forcing it, you're in it. To enter flow, your task needs to stretch you, but not break you. It should be challenging enough to engage your mind, but not so overwhelming that it paralyzes you. Set up your environment to support it. Eliminate interruptions. Choose a task that matters. Give yourself time to drop into the zone. When you hit flow, you'll know. And once you taste it, you'll crave it more than the hustle. 5. Prioritize rest and recovery. This might sound counterintuitive, but rest is a part of real work. Not a luxury, not a reward, a requirement. You can't pour from an empty cup. You can't think clearly when you're chronically tired. Take breaks. Sleep well. Unplug. Because when you rest well, you work well. As the old proverb goes, all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy, and a burnout one too. Real-world examples, when real work comes alive. Because as always, Stoic wisdom only matters if you can apply it in real life. The writer's retreat. Writers often find their best work flows not when they hustle harder, but when they step back. A quiet cabin, a few hours offline, a space to think deeply. That's not laziness, that's deliberate creativity. The entrepreneur's morning routine. Successful founders know that productivity starts before the workday begins. Meditation, a workout, reading, even silent coffee. These rituals build mental clarity and emotional resilience before a single task gets done. The artist's rituals. For artists, real work often begins in stillness. A candle, a playlist, a walk through nature. These aren't distractions, they're gateways into flow. The bottom line, it's time to work differently. Rebooting your approach to work isn't about doing less. It's about doing better, with more clarity, more purpose, and more joy. It's about shifting from hustle to honor, from busy to brilliant, from chasing everything to focusing on what matters. As poet Mary Oliver asked so beautifully, "Tell me, what is it you plan to do with your one wild and precious life?" Whatever your answer is, make sure it lights you up. That's the real work. Lesson 7. See the world like a poet and an artist. Unleash your inner creative genius. Let's be honest. When was the last time you looked at the world with wide-eyed wonder? Not through your to-do list, not through your notifications, but through the lens of awe. Today we're not talking about art school, galleries, or poetry readings, though those are beautiful too. We're talking about something far deeper. A shift in perception, a way of moving through the world where everything becomes meaningful, magical, even sacred. This is the art of seeing, and it's how poets and artists have always transformed the ordinary into the extraordinary. Remember when you were a kid? Remember how everything felt alive? A puddle was a galaxy, a leaf was a spaceship. A simple cloud could look like a dragon or an elephant, depending on your imagination. Children see the world with unfiltered wonder. They don't just look, they notice. They don't just exist, they experience. But somewhere along the way, we lose that magic. We trade it in for urgency, speed, and checklists. We scroll, click, rush, and react. The result? We stop seeing. We stop feeling. But what if we could take it back? The philosopher's lens. A new way of seeing. The ancient Greeks had a word, theoria, the act of contemplation, deep reflection. It's about seeing not just with your eyes, but with your spirit. It's about observing patterns, connections, meanings hiding in plain sight. Plato once said, "Beauty lies in the eyes of the beholder." But what if you could train your eyes to see more beauty? What if the world around you is already magical? You've just forgotten how to notice? Let's fix that. 4 ways to reawaken your poetic and artistic vision. 1. Slow down and truly look. In our fast-paced lives, we rush from one thing to the next, blind to the miracle of the moment. Pause, breathe, then look, really look. Notice the way sunlight hits your coffee cup. Feel the breeze on your skin. Listen to the soft hum of life around you. The world is whispering poetry. You just have to stop long enough to hear it. 2. Look for patterns and connections. Poets and artists are pattern seekers. They find meaning in the rhythm of footsteps, the shape of clouds, the architecture of a city skyline. Try it yourself. Notice the symmetry in leaves. Watch how strangers smile at each other. Observe the pulse of the city or the silence between sounds. Patterns are everywhere, and once you start seeing them, you'll never see the world the same again. 3. Embrace metaphor. Metaphor is the soul of art. It's how we link the abstract with the real, the ordinary with the divine. Think of a sunset not as the end of the day, but as a burning canvas of farewell. See the rain not as a weather event, but as the sky weeping with life. Metaphors are bridges between logic and emotion. They don't just describe life, they illuminate it. 4. Cultivate radical curiosity. Ask questions. Why is the sky that shade of blue? Where is that stranger going? What would it feel like to paint this moment? Break the routine. Try new foods, visit unfamiliar neighborhoods, read unexpected books. Life becomes art when you live it with curiosity and intention. Real-world applications, bringing philosophy into everyday life. Because seeing the world like an artist isn't just a thought experiment, it's a way of living. Let's look at how this works in action. The commuter poet. Next time you're on a train, in traffic, or waiting in line, don't reach for your phone. Look around. Observe the movement, the colors, the interactions. Try writing a short haiku about what you see. Suddenly, the mundane becomes meaningful. The urban sketcher carry a sketchbook, not to impress, just to express. Sketch the curve of a building, the way light reflects on glass or a stranger's silhouette. Art isn't about perfection, it's about presence. The mindful eater. Turn off your screen. Savor each bite like it's the first time you've tasted food. Notice the color of the fruit, the texture of bread, the warmth of tea. When you eat like an artist, you nourish your body and your soul. The bottom line, awaken the artist within, seeing the world like a poet, and an artist is more than appreciating beauty. It's a daily practice of wonder, of depth, of presence. It's how we transform an ordinary moment into a memory, a busy day into a blessing, a life into a legacy. As poet William Blake once wrote, "To see a world in a grain of sand, and a heaven in a wildflower, hold infinity in the palm of your hand, and eternity in an hour." So today, ask yourself, what would happen if I saw this moment like a poet? What beauty is hiding right in front of me? You don't need a brush or a pen. You just need a new way of seeing. Lesson 8. Wherever you go, they're your choices, your inner compass in a chaotic world. Let's talk about a different kind of freedom today. Not the kind with flags, parades, or fireworks. This is the quiet, unshakable kind. The kind that lives inside your own mind. Because here's the truth most people never realize. No matter where life takes you, your greatest freedom is your power to choose. The myth of external control. Most of us live like this. If I could just get that promotion, I'd finally feel fulfilled. If they would just treat me better, I'd be happy. If the weather, the news, or the market would cooperate, I'd have peace. But these are illusions. External circumstances are like the weather, constantly shifting, often unpredictable, and forever outside our control. So if your happiness is tied to the weather, to other people, or to the chaos of the outside world, your peace will always be on shaky ground. The Stoics knew this centuries ago. The Stoic power of choice. The ancient Stoics taught that true freedom doesn't come from changing the world. It comes from changing how you meet it. Epictetus said it best. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. This doesn't mean you surrender to life passively. It means you stop wasting your energy trying to control what you can't and start directing your attention toward what you can, your attitude, your thoughts, your actions. That's where your power is. That's where your peace begins. 4 ways to exercise your power of choice. 1. Recognize your freedom always, no matter what you're facing, loss, stress, uncertainty. You still have one undeniable power. You get to choose your attitude. You can choose to be hopeful instead of bitter, resilient instead of defeated, compassionate instead of angry. You can't control every chapter of your story, but you do control the tone of your response. 2. Reframe your perspective. Life will test you, but every challenge holds a hidden gift if you're willing to look for it. Next time you hit a wall, ask, what can I learn from this? How can I grow through this? Is there a better version of me on the other side of this obstacle? Obstacles can be stepping stones. Pain can be a teacher. And every setback can spark a comeback, if you choose to see it that way. 3. Focus on what you can control. Most people waste energy trying to change things they never had control over in the first place. Instead of obsessing over what's outside your reach, ask, what can I do today to improve this situation? You may not control the storm, but you control your sails. You may not control the noise, but you control your focus. You may not control other people, but you control your character. Power lives in what you do next. 4. Practice gratitude. Even in chaos, gratitude isn't just a feel-good concept. It's a shift in perception. It's the act of choosing to see what's right, even when things feel wrong. Take a few moments each day to reflect. What's one thing I'm thankful for today? What beauty or kindness did I experience? Even in small moments, gratitude grounds you. It helps you remember what's within your control and keeps your spirit anchored in clarity, not chaos. Real-life examples. Stoicism in motion. The traffic jam. Stoic. You're stuck. Horns are blaring. You're late. You can choose to rage, or you can breathe. Listen to a great podcast or practice being present. The traffic won't move faster, but your mind can. The laid-off optimist. You just lost your job. It's painful and scary. But instead of falling into despair, you decide, this is my chance to pivot, to learn something new, to build something better, and suddenly the setback becomes a doorway. The cancer warrior. A life-changing diagnosis. You can't choose the illness, but you can choose your mindset. You focus on your treatment plan, build a support system, and cherish every precious moment. Even in the darkest tunnel, you carry your own light. The bottom line, your choices are your inner compass. Wherever you go, whatever you face, your choices follow you, and they shape your experience more than any external condition ever could. That's not a burden, that's a gift, a power most people overlook. As psychiatrist and Holocaust survivor Viktor Frankl wrote, everything can be taken from a man but one thing, the last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances, to choose one's own way. You are not defined by what happens to you. You are defined by how you respond. So ask yourself, what will I choose today? Lesson 9. Reignite your thoughts. Upgrade your mental software. All right, folks, let's talk about something that doesn't get enough credit. Your thoughts, not the think positive fluff that fills your Instagram feed. We're talking about the real deal, the raw, unfiltered power of your mind to shape your reality, your experiences, and ultimately, your entire life. Because here's the truth, your thoughts are not just passive reflections of the world, they're active creators of it. Your mind is a muscle, use it or lose it. Think of your mind like a muscle. If you stop using it, if you don't stretch it or challenge it, it gets soft. But when you train it, feed it well, and give it new challenges, it grows sharper, stronger, and more flexible. As philosopher René Descartes famously said, "I think, therefore I am." But let's take that further. I think, therefore I create. Your mind is your most powerful tool or your most dangerous trap, and you get to decide which one it becomes. Why you need to reignite your thinking? Here's the thing. Your thoughts are either building your future or keeping you stuck in the past. They can lift you up or tear you down. They can be your launch pad or your prison. When your thinking becomes stagnant, repetitive, or negative, your life starts to feel stuck, no matter how much you're doing on the outside. So what do? You reignite your thoughts. You challenge the old wiring. You upgrade the software. You give your mind a fresh operating system for a new level of life. What happens when you reignite your mind? 1. You break free from limiting beliefs. We all carry beliefs about ourselves, others, and the world. Some of those beliefs empower us. Others act like invisible chains holding us back. By becoming aware of those beliefs and questioning them, you gain the power to rewrite them. Ask yourself, is this really true? Is this belief helping me or holding me back? Who gave me this belief, and do I still want it? 2. You cultivate a growth mindset. A growth mindset is the belief that your abilities, intelligence, and creativity are not fixed. They can grow with effort and learning. With this mindset, failures become feedback, challenges become opportunities, and life becomes a place of possibility, not limitation. 3. You enhance creativity and innovation. Fresh thinking leads to fresh solutions. When you reignite your thoughts, you open yourself to new ideas, connect unexpected dots, and spark that creative energy that leads to breakthroughs. Whether you're solving a business problem, working on a passion project, or just trying to live with more intention, creative thinking is your superpower. Real-world examples. Thought in action. The entrepreneurs pivot. Their first idea fails. The market shifts. But instead of giving up, they reflect, adapt, and pivot. They challenge their assumptions and invent a smarter strategy. That's thought in motion, and it changes everything. The artist's breakthrough creative block hits. They're uninspired, but then they step outside their comfort zone. Try a new medium, collaborate, change environments, and suddenly the spark returns. New thought, new creation. The student's aha moment. They're stuck on a difficult concept, frustrated, but instead of quitting, they shift perspective. Ask for help, seek a new explanation, take a break, and boom, the breakthrough arrives. Your mental workout plan. How to reignite your thinking. 1. Challenge your assumptions. Ask yourself regularly, what beliefs am I carrying that no longer serve me? Am I holding on to outdated thinking? Could the opposite of what I believe also be true? Growth starts with questions, not answers. 2. Seek out new information. Feed your brain, Read books, listen to podcasts, watch documentaries. More importantly, talk to people who see the world differently than you. Diversity of thought leads to depth of understanding. 3. Practice mindfulness. Mindfulness helps you observe your thoughts without getting swept away by them. It gives you space between a thought and a reaction. Even 10 minutes a day of stillness can help you reset your mental patterns and shift into awareness. 4. Embrace curiosity. Try new hobbies. Ask more why and what if questions. Take different routes. Break routines. The more curious you are, the more creative and adaptable your mind becomes. The bottom line: you are the architect of your reality. Your thoughts aren't just passing clouds in your mind. They're the blueprint for your reality. They shape how you see the world and what you believe is possible within it. So ask yourself, is my thinking helping me rise or keeping me small? Is my mind running old programs, or am I writing a better one today? As Socrates said, the only true wisdom is in knowing you know nothing. That's not a limitation. It's an invitation to learn, to grow, to reignite. Your mind is hungry for challenge, for clarity, for creativity. Feed it well, train it wisely, and it will carry you to places your past self couldn't even imagine. The Stoic path forward. So here we are, 9 lessons, 9 windows into the mind of the Stoic. We've talked about control, clarity, creativity, and inner strength. But Stoicism isn't just something you know. It's something you live. Every day, when life gets loud, choose stillness. When emotions pull you apart, return to reason. When setbacks come, and they will, stand tall, not because you're unshaken, but because you know where your true strength lies, within. The Stoic path isn't glamorous. It won't always be easy, but it will always be worth it. Because at the end of the day, this journey isn't about perfection. It's about progress. Not about controlling the world, but choosing how you show up in it. As Marcus Aurelius reminded us, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. So wherever you go from here, go with intention. Face life with courage, and live each moment as if it matters, because it does. Stay strong, stay grounded, stay stoic, and I'll see you in the next lesson.